Well, hello everybody. We're back out in Tiger again, back on one of my favourite Scottish roads. We're going to start the run today up in Glencoe village and travel down through Glencoe to Tyndrum. It's a fabulous road, some fabulous scenery. The weather looks pretty good today, so hopefully we'll get some good video footage for you. Anyway, we'll just head off now and head down Glencoe. Here we are, just entering Glencoe village. It's a nice wee coffee shop they stop in there. If you're ever in this area, there's a few bikes there, so they obviously know about it. Handy place for petrol as well if you need it. Just sitting here. So, as you can see, the terrain round about here is quite stunning. Some fantastic hills. It's great hill walking and mountaineering countryside. There's also a ski centre in Glencoe as well. It's quite a thriving skiing centre in the winter. So it's popular all round for outdoor pursuits and outdoor sports. No matter what time of year you come down here though, Glencoe is very atmospheric. If it's pouring with rain or if it's misty, it has a presence. It's quite a beautiful, beautiful place. But the best time to see it is when the sun's shining and it's dry, especially on a bike. You should be quite lucky with the traffic today as well. Thanks to COVID-19, there's not a lot of tourists up here. And this being the middle of July, this is normally peak tourist season, and there's not a lot of tourists in the area. This is normally very busy. So we should get a nice clean run down the glen without too much traffic. This is a beautiful valley we're just starting to come into now. Stunning hills, stunning views. Awesome road. Certainly one of the most picturesque drives in Scotland coming up through Glencoe. It's definitely much quieter than normal. There's a car park up here which is normally full of cars, and a lot of people come up here and park there because there's some fabulous hill walking in this area. Always a popular spot. This is it quiet, believe it or not. Look at the hills though, they're a stunning place to go and hill walk, so you can't blame people for wanting to come up here. See, this pit is certainly busy in there. Walkers down there. Oops. Oh, up there, that's a walk up there, it goes up into the Lost Valley. Just round the corner here, there's a house just to my left, which was boarded up and there's some broken windows in there, but it was actually owned by Jimmy Savile, and nobody has lived in that house since then. God knows what he might have got up to when he used to come up here for his holidays. I remember I have driven up the glen here before, and I've seen him sitting out in the garden waving to the cars going by. Nice wee waterfall there. It's not so much water coming down today. Beautiful hills up here. Looking up to the Bochel Moor, just to my right. Bochel Moor. It's a stunning hill when you actually see it from coming up from the south. It looks really impressive. We're kind of heading further down the glen, down into Rannakamur area. It's busy here. There's a lot of people up on the hill. You often come down here and see the search and rescue helicopter because there's somebody always getting into difficulty up there, and the helicopters are always out here lifting people off the hill. So it's busy today, much busier than I expected. And X5 there doing some filming with a wee GoPro stuck out the side of the car. The sun's coming out. It's looking wonderful. So just coming up to the ski centre here, from up in the hills to the right hand side there. This road was built apparently many years ago by General Wade, and this area would have been covered in trees, and it's actually a big huge moss, so it's very waterlogged and boggy, not ideal conditions to build a road. A lot of the trees were felled, and it was the tree trunks that were laid down, and that's what formed the base of this road, and that's what's still apparently underneath this road. It's all the original trees. And it was basically built so the armies, or probably the English army, could control the Scottish Highlands and would give them access to the castles in Fort William and Inverness. It was a gateway to the Highlands, because to try and bring any kind of troops and cannon up through this moss would have been torturous. So even to this day we are benefiting from the work from hundreds of years ago by General Wade. It's a stunning place. You see all the hills in the background. It's just absolutely awesome. I remember the first time I ever actually came up this road was way back in the early 1970s, and I had a Honda CB 77305. Lovely bike, I loved it. It was our summer holidays, and all the biking mates were all going up north for our summer holidays, and staying up near Drumnadrochit beside a Loch Ness. Unfortunately, my bike broke down just a few days before we were due to leave. So undaunted, I managed to get some spare parts to repair it. So the day before we all left. I put the bike into the shed, took the engine out of it, stripped the engine down, put in some new parts, and managed to get it going. But by that time, by the time I got it going again, all the mates, they had all gone, they had left, they were away up north on holiday. So I was 1 day behind. So once I got the bike actually back together and working, I took it out for a wee drive along the road. It seemed to be going fine, there was no problem at all. So the next day, through a few belongings, a few bits and pieces of clothing and stuff, and some my pocket full of all the money I had, and headed north to join my friends. I still remember to this day riding up this road. It was the first time I ever came up here on a motorbike, and I was on it on a bike I'd rebuilt the night before. I was a young laddie, I was only about 18. There's no mobile phones in those days, no RAC, a couple of screwdrivers that was in the bike toolkit in case you broke down. No money, no sense, but it was an awesome experience. And the bike actually was brilliant. I never missed a beat that whole holiday. It just kept going. I always think of that bike every time I come up here, and all these years later, I always think of that first adventure on this road. Wow, look at the scenery ahead of us. There's two bridges on this road. We came through one further up north, and there's this one. They're all the same style, this kind of half circle design, and it's quite iconic of this road. To me, it's always represented, that's the beginning of Glencoe and the end basically. Today it's absolutely beautiful. Look at the water over there, the trees and the hills, and it's just such a beautiful country. I think you might have gathered if you've watched some of my other videos how much I love Scotland and love the Scottish roots. I think I'm incredibly lucky to be able to live not too far from this. It's so easy to have a day out on the bike and be up here and back home again. If you're ever planning a tour of Scotland, this is one of the ideas I do put behind this, is to try and show you some of my favourite roads, so that if you come into this area you can get an idea of what that particular stretch of road is like. I try and keep the videos fairly short and try and concentrate on a smallish section and try and give you a true flavour of what that particular road's like. Well, we're just coming down into Tyne Drum now, which will be the end of this video. If you ever come up this way, there's a place called the Green Welly in Tyne Drum, where it's a kind of dining place, a coffee shop and things like that. But it's also very popular for bikers. There's a dedicated motorbike parking area, and certainly at weekends there's dozens and dozens of bikes tend to congregate there. So it's a real wee mecca for motorcyclists. In fact, that's it just ahead of us where that petrol station is. And there's some bikes in, not many. There's some going. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the wee bell icon, and you'll get notification of when I upload any new videos to the channel. I'm trying to put together a wee collection of my favourite roads in Scotland, and hope just purely for my own enjoyment, but hopefully if other people enjoy them and discover some new roads for them to ride on, that would be wonderful. Anyway, until then, I'll sign off and hopefully see you on another trip in one of my Scottish roads. Take care and ride safe.